in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Georgette Truin. I am the co-host for Fight CPS with Ms. G. And I also work for the law office of Vincent W. Davis. And my lovely co-host, Cassandra Woodard. Hello, Cassandra.
Hi.
So I wanted to agree with Mr. Davis again on that video clip that you guys saw. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent, okay? So last night I was doing a lot of researching and I wanted to talk to you guys about those of you guys that are going through an investigative case, okay? Or interrogation investigative case. You have the right to remain silent. Remember that. You use that same right, as you are with the police, with the social workers. The same right. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you. Anything you say to a social worker, they will twist the truth. They will manipulate it to make it fit their agenda. Okay? You can't be honest with a demonic person. You can't, because once you say the truth, they're going to twist it. If you invoke your Fifth Amendment, right, to remain silent, then your Fourth Amendment right will be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, okay? And your Sixth Amendment right to have an attorney, then you can stop an overzealous case, right? Overzealous case. If you don't do that, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences behind it, okay? If you choose to waive these, be prepared to use everything you say against you with the social workers. You are going to be retaliated against whether you waive your rights or not. However, when you don't do as they say, sign here, waiving your rights, whatever, don't be alarmed. Don't be nervous. Taking you to court and all that, that's better for you because you didn't waive your rights. But once you waive your rights and you do as they say, they have power over you. You're agreeing to them. You're agreeing to the allegations against you. They have no right to force you to do a drug test.
Nope.
That's against your rights. But they love doing that because they need something to hold against you more. Something else to hold against you. Doing an investigation, CPS loves to make people submit to drug tests, specifically hair follicle tests that goes back 3 to 6 months. This is common tactic used even if the case is not drug related.
Yeah,
And no
that's been done to me.
allegation, yeah, and no allegation of drug use. CPS use it as basis to terminate a mother's parental rights. All they need is one parent's termination, and that's it. Okay? CPS does not like to be told no when you freely waive your. They don't like to be told no when they ask you to, or they force you to waive your constitutional rights. They don't like to. They don't like you to say no. Okay. If you do, then be prepared to fight in court. Don't freak out because this is a good thing. Actually, this came from an attorney. Do not take do not take on CPS by yourself. Even if you are an attorney, you would need another attorney to fight your case. Doctors don't take their doctors take their children to other doctors. They don't diagnose their own children. And he was explaining that to me. CPS, when you're fighting demonic entities, demonic government, you don't understand the strategy that needs to be implemented for you to win the case. Oftentimes, what parents do, they screw up their own case on their own. They talk to the social workers, they sign the safety plan, they do everything the social workers tell them to do. Then they come to the law office, for example, when they hire us, towards the middle of the case or the end of the case. Once the social worker steps in your house without a warrant, without a court order, you already fucked your case. It's done. They have no right to force you, but to talk to them. And then parents are like, well, I have nothing to hide. Well, we understand you have nothing to hide, but that's not the problem here. The problem is once you allow them, you're already opening Pandora's box on yourself. And you cannot close it once you open the fucking box. Period. So the attorneys are saying you would rather go to court, exercising your rights to begin with, then giving your rights up, and then go to court. You're not going to get your kids back if you sign a safety plan. You're not. You're not going to get your kids back if you do all the classes. It doesn't work that way because they make money. Okay? Check this out. Child Protective Services, also known as CPS. CPS is a protected empire built on kidnapping children and destroying families. Their protected empire. The Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses to the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentives, bonuses, CPS treat kids like merchandise that sells, and they must bring plenty of innocent children so the buyers can choose. The buyers are the foster parents, the adoptive foster parents. Remember, they want to be foster parents to adopt. That's the cheapest way to go. Workers work to keep the federal dollars flowing. Listen carefully. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage. That the state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, the state and local community, which is CPS, work hard to reach their goal to increase numbers of adoptions. This program is by the very top, is ran by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS don't get help from their legislator. Our tax dollars is keeping this gigantic system afloat, and 6 out of 10 kids die in foster care, and the numbers increase. CPS became a protected empire built on taking children and separating families. This is called illegal kidnapping. They are fucking kidnapping children. Poor parents are targeted to lose their kids because they don't have the money to hire an attorney. CPS workers commit fraud and withhold evidence in court, and no checks and balances. Judges allow them to run the fucking show. The separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as the CPS business grows because the state and local government are accustomed to having these taxpayers' dollars to balance their overgrowing budget. Look who is getting paid here, everyone. Check this out. State employees, social workers, children therapists, court appointed attorneys, also known as court pretenders, guardian ad litem, CPS investigators, judges, foster parents, adoptive foster parents, children psychiatrists. All of them look at children in state custody to provide job security. We, the people, need federal congressional hearing to abolish the state and financial incentives that turned CPS into a business that separates families for dollars. The system is broken because CPS has the power to destroy and target innocent families while they leave abused kids in homes of the abusers. What the fuck is happening here in America? Where CPS is a political criminal shitheads who steal children using ruthless types of behavior. Okay? This wow. It's an overgrowing empire. It's kind of like they're, like I said, they're protected.
Have you heard of the Family First Prevention Act? Like, do you know what that is?
Yes, I do. You want to go ahead and share it with us?
They just started doing this like in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And from what it sounds like, from California's point of view, they totally found a way around it to still get money, to still get funded.
Right.
By having the what is it? The QRT PS.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those things, like the little group homes that have like therapeutic help. Like if they tell you that your kid has trauma or your kid is needs mental health problems, they put them in those programs and they still get money for it, rather than getting their families back to, or the kids back to their families.
Right. And what this that's like I said before, this is the rules they set in place to violate your constitutional rights. So what it is, they're still going to make the money.
Yeah.
They're still going to make the money. So what they do is they violate your rights by setting these rules. So they say the kids are traumatized. I mean, the kids are mentally unstable, whatever. No, motherfuckers. The kids were not mentally unstable. They were healthy kids. They were happy kids in their home. But you created the trauma in these children, and then you blame the families and write some bullshit down and lies down on the report to accommodate your fucking needs, you motherfuckers. No, you lied. You create the trauma in the children, but you sedate them, giving them drugs. Diagnose them with bipolar at age 5, you mother. I mean, it's like, and then you blame the parents. That's why I call them sociopathic, narcissistic assholes. Why? Because a narcissist or a sociopath will never take accountability to their own actions. What they do is they blame the victims, who are the parents.
They diagnosed my daughter with ADHD. My daughter has no signs of ADHD whatsoever. None.
Yep. And they make more money. That's a special needs child.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a special needs child, and they make them special needs.
They tried to give her an IEP too recently.
Wow. Wow.
There's nothing wrong with her, like, at all. She's a normal kid. Well, for the most part, and since they took her, but like, she never had any problems like that.
Exactly my point. The kids are traumatized in the state custody, and these judges wearing black robe sitting on benches, they have no purpose.
And there's plenty of studies that say that. There's plenty of studies that say kids need to be in a family-based setting. Their kids need to be with their families, kinship, anything like that. In-home prevention, not out-of-home prevention, not group homes, a family-based setting. Plenty of studies. I've read a whole bunch. Like over the weekend, I read.
Kids are not kids. Oh my God. Social workers. I saw a video on YouTube about of a social worker going to a home, and the father had the video on, and he told her, "I don't want to let you in my home. I'm not going to allow you in my home because that's in violation of my rights." And she kept telling the father, "I'm a social worker. I don't need a warrant. I'm a social worker. I don't need a warrant. You better talk to me. I'm a social worker." That bitch was talking to him like he's a piece of shit. Like he is worthless piece of shit in front of her. And I was listening to the video. I swear to God, I was looking at her and all she was missing is horns on her fucking head. And how evil she was. She was so evil. And the guy stood his grounds. He said, "No, you're not coming in. No." Then she gave him her business. She tried to give him her business card. And he said, "I don't take shit from strangers." Yeah. I was like applauding this guy.
Yeah.
I was applauding him. And it's to me, like Mr. Davis said in the introductory video, you have more rights as a fucking criminal than you do as a parent. So basically, we have children. We are the incubators to the fucking state. Think about it. We, the parents, mothers, are the incubators to the state, and the state actually owns your children.
Yeah.
We don't own the children. No wonder one of my closest friends, I can't mention her name. If she's watching today, she'll know. She refuses to have children. Me and her are the same age. We're in our 50s. She refuses to have children. I was one of those women that I can't wait to get married. I want to have girls. I want to have boys. I want to dress up my daughters. I want to take them to church. I want to blah, 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 be involved, this, and that, right? That's when I was little. I didn't know there was ugly in the world. Since we were little kids, she said, "Nope, I'm not going to have children. The world is bad."
Mm-hmm.
She refuses. And we were like, I think we were in junior high around that time, or high school, maybe, or junior high. She refuses. She said, "Georgette, there's bad in the world." I said, no, there's good in the world, blah, 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 blah. Me and her used to, argue back and forth. Now, she always reminds me of this. She said to me, this is why she would never have children. Because this world, your children don't belong to you. Don't belong to you. They belong.
If I knew that.
Huh?
If I knew that then.
I know.
From now, I probably wouldn't have had kids either.
Yeah. I know.
It's as soon as you sign their birth certificate. It's like, that's not your kid.
It. That's not your kid. You're just a label on a piece of paper. But your rights as a parent doesn't exist because of the state. And nobody is really, people like Congress people, the president, vice president, all these motherfuckers don't care. They don't care. But when they're being elected, right, to office, they make you feel that they're for the people. They're not for the people. CPS workers don't get fired. They don't get fired. They get promoted. They get promoted. What the fuck is that about? Think about it. Okay. I used to work for a bank many years ago, right? My first bank, my first job. So I became a supervisor. Then, you know what? I start managing, right? Mm-hmm. One of the employees lied. I got rid of her immediately. Immediately. Right? But social workers lie and they get promoted. They get promoted. Just think about that. What does that tell you?
That it's messed up and backwards.
Right. But that's why they act untouchable. Why? Because they're protected.
Their job is secure. They have job security.
They have job security. And if you lie to protect your supervisor, guess what? You're going to get a promotion. There is a guy that told me yesterday, I need to check if he's right or not. The social workers make $147,000 a year. I actually texted him and I wanted to know how he got that information, and I want to inquire and make sure that's accurate information. But if it is accurate information, that's fucking insane. No wonder parents would tell me, my social worker was driving a fucking Ferrari the other day. Where in the fuck did she get that money? What? Are you in close ties with the cartels? Are you what? How are you getting that money? My social worker drives a brand new Mercedes convertible. Where did you get that money? Where?
That's horrible.
It to me is all tied up together. All these public officials make money. They make money. They use the people to make their money and keep their fucking jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people come to our office or they contact me, they always want pro bono. But what they don't understand is that the court-appointed attorney they provide them with is pro bono to them, but they still get paid by the state. So they don't work for free, but they will not help you. They will not help you because they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. They're not. So other parents find a way to get retainers. They find a way. I don't know how they do it. Most of them get loans. Others get they find some kind of funding agency, whatever. Or their family help or their friends or all of them together combined help out. But the work that is involved dealing with the state is like one parent versus the state. One parent versus the state. The other parent have to have their own attorney also versus the state. Family court is a different type of court. You're not versing the state in family court. It's you against the opposing counsel,
mm-hmm.
the opposing party. But in the state matter, it's a big fight. They're both big fights. Don't take me wrong. Custody, divorce, the division of property, all that. That's a lot of work too. But just to file in court is like between $800 to over $1,000 just to file your case in court. And they charge you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like people think, okay, the attorney can come out of pocket for all that. No, not even the court-appointed attorney comes out of pocket for shit. They need to get paid. But they're demons. So, they're separate than other attorneys. Seriously, no joke. Other parents call me and they say, Georgette, we found an attorney that charges $3,500 as a retainer. I said, are you sure that's a juvenile attorney? A juvenile attorney will never charge a retainer of $3,500. She said, well, he said he handles juvenile cases, but he's a family law attorney. I said, no, that's impossible. A week later, they call me and say, well, that attorney wants $12,000 from me, $16,000 from me, $20,000 from me, depending on who the attorney is. So, hello, $3,500 is not even enough for all the filing you have to do. And oftentimes people don't understand the difference. They go for the cheapest. And I understand where you're coming from too. But the $3,500 or the $3,200 will never, ever handle your whole case. But most family law attorneys will take your small retainer and they keep continuing to do this with everybody. And by the end of the day, they made a lot of money. It adds up. So don't do it. Try to find a way to get yourself help financially so you can hire the right attorney. we have, I don't know if you watched my show last week. I had a special show, Cassandra, where I explained to people, because a mother called me and she said that if we don't take her case pro bono for free,
She's gonna give you bad reviews.
Yes, you saw the
Yeah,
show.
I seen the show.
I couldn't believe. I swear, I want to call her back so badly. Every time I remember this lady and her husband, I want to call them back and just cuss them out. But I'm assertive, but I just have to kind of step back
Yeah.
because they're in the wrong. We all know they're in the wrong. But honest to God, this woman was insisting on writing bad reviews. Other people write bad reviews also when they don't get what they want.
Yeah.
Meaning, they fuck their own case up and they blame the attorney for fucking their case up. They call their attorney 20 times a day for the smallest stupid shit, and the retainer is draining out, right? And when they sign an agreement, it specifically says anything based on your case, the attorney gets paid. And they think that attorney is only working for them. That's it. They're only handling their own case. And it's not true.
Nope.
So when you call your attorney 20 to 30 times a day or 12 times a day, you better believe the attorney is charging you for the minutes you're talking to him about or her about your case. And then they get mad, then they write bad reviews. It's crazy how people behave. And that to me speaks a lot about a person. A lot.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And then they complain about their attorneys, right? And then when they're in front of their own attorneys, oh, you're great, Mr. So-and-so. Oh, you're great, Miss So-and-so. But then why do you complain? You know why? Like I mentioned to you guys before, Jennifer Annie, Andrew Hawes, Judy Nugent, all these attorneys that's involving CPS in our office, they work pretty hard. Jennifer works on cases until 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3. And she actually calls me late, asking me questions about a case she's dealing with because I spoke to the client about something. So they work hard. They don't just sit on their asses and eat caviar and drink champagne. And oftentimes people think attorneys are rich. That's not true. I had a caller yesterday. He said to me, Mr. Davis is rich. Why doesn't he take my case for free? I said, how do you know Mr. Davis is rich? How do you know? Why does he have videos? Why does he have a show? Why does he fight for kids if he doesn't want to help people for free? Give me a break. And I always tell people this, do you want to work for free? No. Then why do you expect attorneys to work for free? The scumbags, the court-appointed attorneys don't work for free. They get probably paid more than our attorneys. Way more. So, and what? And you know what's sad? The court-appointed attorneys and the social workers always complain that they have a load of cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you motherfuckers stop lying about people, accusing people, you wouldn't have a shitload of cases. You would focus on the people that really need your attention.
Yep.
Kids that really need your attention. Instead of leaving the kids that fucking need your attention in the abusive home where they get abused. Does that make sense? So why complain? If you are the cause of all these cases, the caseloads that you guys are complaining about, do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And perhaps do your fucking job right, legally, not kidnap children. Legally do your job right. But that's never going to happen.
And people need to do their research too. Like, you guys got to do your research. Like, trust me, like, I've been learning so much. Like, there's so many resources out there that can help you. Mm-hmm. Like, know about what you're going to go through, know what you're going to have to deal with. Like, I found tons of stuff. Like, it really helps. Like, you got to do your research. Be prepared.
So check this out. I just one of the attorneys that watches my show, he's actually in Santa Cruz, California, and um, he sends me some information sometimes. He said in Santa Cruz, California, and San Bernardino and LA County, CPS workers said we don't need a court order because they are CPS. He said, tell your people to be aware. CPS need a warrant to force entry into your home. They cannot force entry into your home without a warrant. Social workers can go take the kids on an emergency removal where they lie, and the court accepts that because all they need is a reason, even when the reason of the removal is based on lies. No checks and balances at all from the judge, and system is corrupt. That's what he said. Social workers scare parents to do what they wanted them to do. The children being adopted is for money, as you know, and everybody else know, is the incentives that they care about. The courts don't follow the law properly. Okay. And he said, I do not recommend you go in there blindly, not knowing the law when it pertains to CPS workers. Do your investigation, investigate yourself on your own, and um, and gain the right knowledge in order for you to help yourself and gain your custody of the children back. So he was just giving me some information as to bring awareness that don't just get into it and not do your homework. Like most people called me yesterday, they don't know anything about CPS. They've never been in CPS custody before, never been involved with CPS before. So they think, oh, everything is going to be okay. I'm a good parent. And I keep telling them over and over again, and they think this is a sales call. I'm not a salesperson at all. I can't do sales. I'm very open. I'm very outspoken. I just can't do sales. So I told them, I said, this is a law firm, dude. This is not a sales facility. We're not a sales company. It's either you hire an attorney or you don't. You know, that's on you. So he said, no, you're just doing this for sale, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I'll talk to you next week. I said, call me next week. Let me know how it goes. He's convinced the social workers are not going to remove his kids because they're good parents. And he said the social worker came to the house and everything is okay. The house is clean, blah, 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 blah. Right? And I guarantee you, in a few days, they're going to be knocking on his door and they're going to be removing those kids. I tried to educate the people. I sent him the book. I told him, read the book. It's free. Read the damn book. Educate yourself. He refuses to educate himself because he and his wife think they're right. And they think that they actually have power over the system. They think they have power over the system. And that broke my heart last night. And I'm like, you know what? I wanted to say you're an idiot. I'm giving you free information. Look at it. Gain that knowledge you need. You can't just go to an exam in college, right? You can't go to a test and then not be prepared for the test, right? You can't. No one does that. Unless you're a fucking genius. You know everything and no one knows everything. You have to educate yourself. You have to gain that knowledge to understand how your enemy operates. If they're 5 steps ahead of you, you need to be 10 steps ahead of them. Period. So don't think you're a great parent. All of you guys are great parents. Not like the other lady said last week that, oh, she's the best parent and all the other ones on the shows or all the other ones that call me are bad parents. No, bitch, they're not bad parents. They're great parents. They must be people like that who think like that is really very limited thinkers. Very limited. Because they're not looking at the big picture. If they think they're great parents and they're dealing with CPS, what makes them think that the other parents are guilty?
They're going through the same thing.
Exactly. Okay, exactly. Emily, you need a book. I think I have your number, and I think I texted it to you. But let me see, Emily. Hold on a second. No, I don't. Okay, so call the office. Ask for Georgette. Um, if Rachel, Joni, or Christina answers the phone, or Lisa, just tell them to let me know that you need the book. So I would need your phone number, and I will text it to you myself. That's not a problem at all. I'm also going to text you some other information that will be helpful for the case as well. Learning the process, Maureen said, learning the process of court can be very confusing. It is very confusing. That's why it is. Go ahead, Cassandra.
I was reading something. Amy, I think, wanted to know like some of the resources. Like I went on to the child welfare like .gov. They have a lot of resources that explain all the things that are going on, like to help you understand what they're doing, which it says the exact same thing they're doing. It like clearly says what they're doing. And they have like National Reunification Month. Is that a joke? Seriously? Like,
yeah, it is. Everything is a joke when it comes to the government.
It's
seriously,
they have a whole month for it, but like, have you heard of it? Like, I've never heard of it until I read about it, and it's apparently funded by the American Bar Association. Helps that reunification month.
The Bar Association is in on it too, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, the Bar Association is part of that.
Come to find out, I found all this out. Like,
yeah, and they also have Adoption Day. Margaret said, "You're absolutely."
Oh, they have a whole month for Adoption Day.
Yeah, and they actually have Adoption Day where they go to a county and they choose children from a yard. They actually watch children play and they choose them. People don't understand that either. The system is corrupt, baby. And they make a lot of money behind it. I was talking to a friend of mine before, and she said, I should have been a social worker. She said, I would have been a fighter. I said, I would have been fired the following week.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would fucking expose each and every one of them immediately. And then she laughed and said to me, I forgot who I was talking to. But in a little bit of second, she felt good people can make a change. No. Good people will be fired if they make a change. If they try to implement the change. Because you have to follow the instructions of the fucking entity. You can't go against them. You have to protect them. Otherwise, your job is not secured no more. And that's why they promote you like an abuser would buy his daughter, for example, right? An iPhone to keep her silent. It's the same thing. If you do it this way, you're going to get promoted. When you get promoted, you make more money. They make money. They make really good money. For a social worker to drive a Ferrari or drive a Mercedes, where in the name of God are you getting this money? That's a big thing. There you have it. It's all about the money. Amy said there's a movie about that. Yeah, there's several movies. Actually, one of our clients was sharing it with me. There's a couple of movies about that. And I think there's another movie they're working on where they're exposing the Department of Child Services. There's another film that's coming out. Amy said, thank you, Cassandra.
You're welcome. The like that website also like just it branches off to a whole bunch of other stuff. Like just click on the links and it will take you other places and show you like different things. Like and whatever state you're in, like go to that court Superior Court of that state website. Like, and I found out that they have a game for attorneys to play to simulate what they're going to do in court.
Mm-hmm.
A video game.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad. Emily said, I feel you on every level of that because I made the mistake of signing over my rights. 4 out of my 5 babies around 3 years ago, family members, and they still haven't been adopted out. My eldest daughter has been bounced around home after home, and my second eldest daughter was molested by my aunt's husband, and more than likely my youngest daughter and my eldest son. He's just a mess as well. And my youngest son doesn't even know that I am his real mommy because his parental aunt allows him. Wow. Emily, I am so sorry, honey. And you know, I have a show called Relatives Fight CPS at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays as well. And sometimes I do the show and I am sad because I have seen family members really fuck their own blood out. Like seriously fuck them up. They report them, they accuse them, they steal their children, and they're not doing it because they love them, they're doing it for the money behind it. They're doing it for the money behind it. So a child, Biden, made an order, 37 or whatever, 32,000 or whatever. No, 3,700 for every child in your household a year on your taxes, meaning you get a bonus. Sad, ain't it? So what I found after this order was placed, so many family members are actually retaliating against their own family. Weird, right? I mean, I'm telling you true stories. They report them. Grandparents are reporting their own flesh and blood. Aunts and uncles are reporting their own flesh and blood. And then they take the children, they separate them, and there you have it. It's done. And then they make 3,700 per child. So imagine 5 kids in the house that they take. How much money is that? Just think about it. That's a lot of money. And you get help from the government on top of that too. You get the help. They get the help that the mother should have gotten to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
The mother should have gotten the help. But why? Why give the mother help? That's why I call them demonic, because the devil separates.
The advertisements online, like when you're online looking for stuff, like the advertisement, foster family, you can earn this much money being a foster parent. Like, well, why don't you give that money to parents that actually love their kids and are taking care of them? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. No one can love your kids as much as the mother. I'm sorry. No one can ever love your child. The mother's love is unconditional. But what they do, they drive the mother crazy. They drive the mom insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because you stole her soul. And then they say, look, she's crying. She's hysterical. She must be crazy. No, mother F's, you're the crazy ones. You guys, CPS, social workers, listen to me carefully. You need psychiatric help. You need a psychiatrist to evaluate you and sedate you and put you in a facility away from the public. That's what you workers all over the United States, especially Monterey Park, San Bernardino, Riverside, Lancaster, all of you guys are screwed as fuck. Because you're like a young piece of shit that probably barely graduated from high school. You go assess a family, 5 fucking minutes, and that gives you the whole story that these families are the worst on the face of the earth. And you yourself, the worker that is is nothing but a piece of shit that goes partying on Friday nights with her friends and drink, and God knows what else you do, and you call yourself a social worker because I work for the government. Stupid fucking assholes. Amy said they sure do. I want to cry, but I will never let them see it. That's right. You know, having feelings and having emotion is meaning you're alive, you guys. It means you're alive. God would not give us tears if it's not used. So we cry because we are alive. We feel pain. And when you steal your own flesh and blood, motherfuckers, I would love to see a congresswoman lose her children, and let's see how she's going to behave. Just imagine. It's never going to happen, but just imagine. I'm sure her ass will cry unless she's dead inside. But when a normal parent cries, then they deem them unfit, hysterical. They need mental evaluation. They need a psychiatrist to evaluate them. Then they send the parent to their own psychiatrist to evaluate them. Well, guess what? That psychiatrist is using the system to have job security. That's why he has ties, or she has ties with CPS, with juvenile dependency and delinquency. Get it now? They have ties for job security.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they going to do? They're going to do what the state wants them to do. That's exactly how it works. Carol said, my attorney wasn't worth it. I hired her on the recommendation of a family member. She sat there and let me get run over like a bulldozer. My advice is research your attorney. Make sure you get your money's worth. Cheap attorneys will give you cheap representation. An attorney has to earn a living too. People think attorneys charge too much. Some do. If I had to do it all over, I would have broken my retirement account and hired the biggest, baddest of SOBs to ever pass the bar exam. And she's right. We all get what we pay for. All of us. All of us. A lot of people, I told one of our clients, I said, sir, if you have a heart disease, would you go to a foot doctor to help you? He said, absolutely not. Then I said, then why in the fuck would you go to a family law attorney? Well, he was cheaper. I understand that. But what's the point? Might as well stay with your court pretender. They're just as, just as bad. They know the law, or some of them don't even know the law. But they don't want to implement it. And some of them are oblivious. So might as well stay with your court pretender, right? Why pay the $3,500? Why pay the $2,500? Why pay the $5,000? $5,000 doesn't even handle your case. Believe it or not, $5,000 doesn't handle your juvenile dependency case. I mean, in the office, in our office, Mr. Davis has, like, for example, people that can't afford him, they hire him, like, for example, coaching and consulting, right? The coaching and consulting is like a package where, he helps you, consults you on your case, correct? For a consultation up to 30-minute consultation, he charges $350, right? If you want to go beyond that, then he charges for that as well. So he can consult you on your case for up to 30 minutes. Talk about your case. The coaching and consulting is implementing and a strategy to help you on your case. and that you work with Mr. Davis one-on-one. Now, oftentimes people don't know how to help themselves because they're so emotional and involved. So you are not going to be a good fit for something like that. So it's best for you to hire an attorney fully to represent you in court. Oftentimes, court attorneys who want to do it right and they don't understand the law very well, the parent will get the coaching and consulting and have Mr. Davis deal with that attorney, for example. So Mr. Davis and that attorney will talk together about the case, and Mr. Davis would walk that attorney and what they need to do. But you have to pay for that too. Not as much, but you have to pay for the services because he is giving you that time. It's still his time that he's providing to that attorney to help them out. Because a lot of times attorneys don't understand the law very well. They don't know the strategy to implement to win a case. And it takes years and years and years of experience and understanding and learning and developing. So usually new attorneys don't understand that yet. So there's a lot of ways, but I personally recommend you hiring the attorney to represent you in court. Period. There is no such thing as 2,000 retainer, 3,500, 5,000. There is no such thing. Not for a juvenile attorney. Not at all. Maureen said, had an attorney appointed by the judge for 5 minutes. He quoted American Indian law that had nothing to do with us. We are not American Indian. Exactly that. There you go. They don't know the law. Honestly, if it's that easy to be an attorney, I would love to be one now. Seriously. I mean, I would love to be an attorney. That's how fucked up they are. They're stupid. Wait, Amy said if they are so bad, then why take only the girls and leave the son with the parent? I think
that actually happened to me.
Oh, is that what she means? Like
I don't know. My daughters got taken, but my son got given to his father.
I guess it depends on the age of the children, because again, the adoptive foster family that want to adopt, they have in mind a certain age. You know what I mean? They tell the social worker, oh, I want a 5-year-old, or I want a girl. I want a blonde girl with blue eyes. I'm giving you an example. It actually happens. Or I want a brunette, or I want a black-haired girl, brown skin. So they have their picks and choose. And the social worker accommodates them because they make money from that adoption. That's their incentives. So they're going to pick and choose who they want to take from your home. That's why they become merchandisers. I just read that. They actually are the kids are merchandise goods that they steal to have the foster family choose. That's why they have to collect as many so the foster families can choose. All these motherfuckers are opening a what? Oh my god, it's called it's not a foster home, but oh my god, help me out.
STRP?
No, where they put teenagers in a group home. Sorry, a group home.
Yeah.
A lot of people start group homes. This is what blew my mind. One of my close friends said to me, he's gonna open a group home with his wife, blah, blah, blah. And I said, why would you want to do that? He said, it's a lot of money. I'll be making a whole ton of money. And I said, that's sad. I said, what are you going to implement in that? What are you going to do that's going to be different? He said, shit, I ain't doing shit. I just want to make the money. So all these group homes, they're not there to help kids. They're just making money. And guess what? The social workers need them. Because when a teenager is out of control, they're going to put them in that group home. And what you guys don't understand, the longer the child is in CPS custody, the funding, the incentive keeps going, keeps coming to them. Because they keep paying for them, right? It keeps coming. The social workers are called, the social workers are this, the social workers goes checks on the child, blah, blah, blah. And then the group home makes money. They get funding and payments every month. And then they hire people to watch the kids. And those motherfuckers, they're not friends with the kids. They don't give a shit about the kids. So what do the kids learn? The kids learn to survive. The children, teenagers, they're at a stage in their lives where they're trying to find their own identity. Mm-hmm. You fucking steal them from their family, put them in a fucking group home, and you expect them to find their identity when they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened back there. What the? And then you say the kids need therapy and psychiatrists and this and that and medication. And no, you motherfuckers, the kids need to be with their family.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like on that Family Prevention Act or whatever, like they're saying that they're stopping group homes from getting funding, like after so much, but they're like finding a loophole by making these STRP or therapeutic group homes, basically. So that's why they're diagnosing like all these kids, misdiagnosing all these kids to be mental health problems and trauma and all this stuff, so they can put them in these group homes and still get funding. Wow. Yeah, that's what it looks like in California. I don't know about everywhere else.
Kids need love.
Mm-hmm.
Kids need love, and they need their mother, period. They need their father too. However, there's a special tie between a child and their mother. A special tie. The child's DNA stays in the mother for the rest of her life. That's why when the devil targets, he targets the mother first. Because she's a life giver. That's how it works. And that's why they target women. If there's a domestic violence, the domestic violence report goes under the woman's name, even though she called for help. But they tell the woman, the mother, you failed to protect. How in the fuck did the mother fail to protect when the mother called the police to begin with? How? Oh, you knew he was going to beat you. How? How? It's sad. It's very, 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 very sad what they do to parents. And some fathers I speak with, they want to, the fathers are the good fathers, that is. They're there. They want to protect. They're, in nature, good parents, like the father figure, is to protect his family, right? Protect his children. That's the father's main goal, is protection. And when they steal the children from the family and the father is left helpless, that's a big deal to a man. It is. It's a big deal. Because the father is trying to get his children and protect them and protect his wife, and they're not even allowing that. So what they do, they separate the family. Mother, you have to have your own attorney. Father, you have to have your own attorney. You versus the state separately. The children have their own attorneys, etc., etc., etc. A child have their own attorney. Then that child's attorney lies to the court and says things that children didn't even say. And like I mentioned to you guys before, guess what? Those children, if a social worker comes and says the child said, that's 100% zero fucking, it's lies. Lies. It's false. I have spoken to so many kids that grew the system. All of them said the same fucking thing. None of them are related to each other, by the way. And they all said the same thing. The social worker lied. I never said that. The social worker came to me and said, my parents don't want to see me anymore. Do you want the foster parents to adopt you? A couple of kids said to me, I didn't want to be adopted. I told them they could get legal guardianship from me, but not adopted. And some kids said, yes, I want them to adopt me. But the social worker told the kids, all of them, your parents don't want to see you. Your mom canceled her visitation. Your father gave up on you, etc., etc. So the kids would tell me that they had a hard time growing up in that home because they felt unloved. They felt unloved. Why? Because they felt their parents abandoned them. And the foster parents that adopt, they oftentimes use the children to do the housework, to run the errands, to clean their ass,
to rub their feet. My daughter told me that like she had to rub her foster parents' feet in order to stay up and watch TV longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the social worker lied to me and told me the kids didn't want to come home. And then I talked to my kids and they're like, of course we want to come home. Like,
I know.
Are we like are they thinking we're stupid? We don't talk to our kids? Like our kids aren't going to tell us something like that? Like,
yep.
It's way out. Like,
it's sad. It's sad. But that's what they do. They use the children as tools to be their slaves. Yeah. That's what they do.
And my youngest daughter, she was favored over her sister. So that made like tension between the two.
Yep. But that's what they do. A narcissistic person, right, would target one child over the other, and because that child is submissive to them. They tell them everything that goes on. So they turn the kids against each other. And that's why they favor one over the other. It's the truth, though, Cassandra. It's been 4 months. Chelsea said it's been 4 months, and they said since I haven't done what they want, they're already planning permanency. Is that legal? I don't know anything about your case, Chelsea. Nothing they do is legal. But if they're already planning permanency, that means they're going to terminate your parental rights, I'm assuming. Or I don't know. I don't know anything about your case. I'm just not enough information. I suggest you actually call our office and have a consultation with Davis. That's very important. Or you can ask Joni or Christina to transfer you to me if I'm available. If not, they will email me your information and I will call you back. And I will get a little bit more about your case. Amy said, show your kids pictures, keep their memory jogged. This is sad that we have to do that, though. No mother has ever said to herself, oh, yeah, I'm going to have kids so I can one day, when they're born, I'll just keep their pictures with me as memory. No fucking mother ever done that. None of us. We've become family for a reason. To love, to care for, to educate. My God, this is ridiculous. I mean, Amy, I understand what you're saying, but it just fucking breaks my heart that our fucking kids are tools for the system to make money from. That's fucking crazy. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Our kids, our flesh and blood, our souls are a tool for the system to use and make money off.
When I was growing up, I had like no idea about CPS. Like until after I had kids, I found out about CPS. Like that's how
fucked up it is. Yeah.
I like wanted to have kids so that
Yeah.
way I always had my kids, you know, like to love and be there, like and I found out about CPS and I'm like, oh well, now I have a risk of them getting taken from me, like thinking that I'd never lose my kids, never ever, and that's always going to be mine, you know, to love and cherish, you know, and now it's gone.
Yeah. And every kid you have going forward, guess what? They would remove that child too because of a previous CPS case that you were innocent from to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else in America, right, and other countries, shame on you for judging mothers who actually suffering. And you think the system works? Well, you're a fucking idiot. Because the system doesn't work. And how dare you judge mothers when you don't even know the full story? You're believing a social worker? You guys are delusional as fuck. That takes me off. That really takes me off. A social worker, a piece of shit social worker who barely graduated, barely, that has no children, that parties, drinks, smokes, sees a parent for 5 minutes and already has evaluated the parent based on hearsay. What the fuck does that mean? Hearsay doesn't work in court, right? However, it doesn't work with the parent. However, it works with the social workers. Hearsay works with the social workers. Where's the checks and balance? Hearsay works with the social workers, but in family court, for example, hearsay doesn't work. You have to have proof. You have to have evidence. Unless the opposing parent married a judge, right? Then that's a different story. Then the judge would favor the parent that has the connection with the court system. That happens all the time. Then hearsay would be accepted. Get it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But normally hearsay is not concrete evidence. And the judges listen to the social workers without checks and balances. They're not even checking to see if what the social worker wrote in the report is accurate, and they keep the parents silent. They keep the parents silent in court.
Mm-hmm.
Judges are just as guilty. Amy said you called that one. I saw 3 of them at the casino drinking, smoking, and partying it up. I have seen it too, Amy. I have seen it. I have fucking seen it, and I know them. I know them. They drink, they party, and they're crazy. They know people that I know. So the people that I know didn't know that I know. So what they do, they send me pictures of them. They send me pictures of them drinking, partying. A social worker half naked in a club. A social worker's taking pictures. Oh yeah, taking pictures with like seriously wearing. It looks like a fucking lingerie. That's like a fishnet top, and she has stars covering her private area, and she's a social worker. Those motherfuckers are the ones that go to your home and evaluate you as a parent. Those are the same ones that fucking see a bottle of wine, and right away they say, why do you have a bottle of wine? You must be an alcoholic. But yet they leave the alcoholic motherfuckers with children alone. They fucking leave an alcoholic parent with their children, and they take them away from the parent who doesn't drink, smoke, or do anything. And there you go. So the system is so fucked up because of money. The love of money is the root of all evil, because that's what they love. They love money, not children or not parents or not the right thing for the family. That's exactly what evildoers do. And the devil loves chaos. The devil's not going to put children in a home that's loving. Get it? If one parent is an alcoholic, guess what? They're going to leave the children with that parent. And the other parent is suffering. The devil wants children to live in chaos because that destroys the child's psyche. And then everybody start blaming God. See, that's the whole purpose of this satanic, demonic piece of shit entities. Because demons need a nest to stay in it. Remember that. Demons need a nest, a body to nest in it. That body is their nest. Remember that. A house divided against itself is never going to stand. Demons build that house, which is the CPS, right? State. This CPS state, they protect each other. They're not going to go against each other because that house is going to fall. So what do? Because they're demonic entities, they place children with the abusers. And when a mother is raising her concern, then they threaten the mother. And then if she made another concern report because her child is being abused in that home, then they completely remove the visitation with the children and the mom, and continue to leave that child in the abusive home. That shit is not from God. That shit is not from God. The shit is demonic. The shit is demonic. These motherfuckers should never be above the fucking law. Amy said the foster mom is taking my girl and her sister to the grandfather of the accused, and he's an alcoholic. I believe you, 100. The very ones that would not step forward to help their own grandchildren. There you go. Amy, so you know what I'm talking about. I already know this. Taver said, ma'am, how can a 12-year-old give consent to be adopted in Colorado? That is beyond me. Oh, and you better not say that you can get your child's behavior under control or try to chastise your child. You know what's so sad about this, Tavers? There was a case of a firefighter that married a judge, and that son of a bitch took the 2 girls from the mom because his aunt works for the Department of Child Services. His mother's an attorney, and his wife is a judge. And he married her like a few months after his divorce while his wife was still pregnant. And the sad part about it is that judge, before she became a judge, she was a district attorney for LA County. And he's an alcoholic. So he's a functioning alcoholic, I guess. He drinks and drives, and basically he's an alcoholic, 100%. His mother's an attorney. Same way, she's an enabler. She enables him, protects him. So because he's a firefighter and his aunt works for the Department of Child Services, guess what? And his wife is a judge. They sided with him. And they took the children from a mother who was innocent, never been in trouble with the law, doesn't do anything against the law, and never neglected the children. She was Mother of the Year at her kids' schools because she was a hands-on mom. They stole her children when there's a bad divorce custody going in family law. They moved the case into juvenile and stole her children and gave the children to the abuser, who was diagnosed as a malignant, a covert narcissist. A covert narcissist, by the way. He was diagnosed from a psychiatrist in family court as a covert narcissist. So they handed the children to the abuser. That's what they do. They love the abusers. I had a client last week that said it was a husband and wife. So the husband said, yeah, I like to drink. I'm going to keep drinking. That's not against the law, blah, 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 blah. And he said, my wife made the report against me, blah, blah. And the social worker told him, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you're going to have your kids placed with you. You don't have to pay her child support, but you can collect child support from her. She was asking me if that's true. And I said, yeah. I said, but why would you want to do that? Well, shit, I want to make money. So yes, the kids are placed with him, and he is now taking child support from her. You guys get that, right? That's crazy. Mothers are paying child support to the abusers. That's our system. That's our government. That's how fucked up life is. Functioning I guess she's saying laughing out loud. Really, I have to have a sense of humor to keep from crying. Well, he calls himself functioning alcoholic. So like he can actually function. And the sad part about it is he's a firefighter. That's the sad part. And when the mother raised her concern, then she was deemed unfit because she's raising concern against the father. That's how fucked up the system is. And then that narcissist father brainwashes his children that it's the mother's fault that they're taken from her. So what a narcissist does, they blame the victim. They project what they do and say the victim is the one doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what a narcissist does to his or her children. And when a narcissist has a status, right, like title, especially if they're working like firefighters, cops, whatever, then the court sides with them. Family law and juvenile. However, with that lady's case, family law was siding with her because she was in the right. He was caught lying several times. But that's when a narcissist gets nervous and move and somehow create chaos, report the mother, because the mother raised concern. Then he reported the mother, saying that the mother is brainwashing the 3-year-old and the 4.5-year-old from not loving their dad. What kind of bullshit is that? You take children because you suspect what a narcissist is saying is actual truth with hearsay? That's bullshit. So they get away with it. So that's why I always say the system is broken and fucked up. They don't have the right training. They don't hire the right people because they choose narcissist, sociopathic people to hire. If you choose sociopathic, narcissist people to hire, there is no way they're going to follow the fucking law. Because a narcissist and a sociopath, they behave and say that they are above the law. You feel me on that, Cassandra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As to Taver's question, I can't answer that question. That um that that 12-year-old can give consent to be adopted. I know that in some states and counties, it depends on the county and the state the case is in, depends on the laws there. Like I said, they set rules in place. Every county is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every state is different. And they do, I've heard that they do ask the teenager if they want to be adopted. And if but what they do first, they brainwash the child first. They tell the child the mom doesn't want to see you anymore. They tell the child the mom did not want to show up to your visitation, etc., etc. So when that happens, the child automatically withdraws because they feel unwanted, they feel unloved. So what they say, okay, fine, I let the foster parents adopt me, because children want to say at school, this is my mom and dad. They don't want to say this is my stepmom or this is my adoptive mom. They don't want to say that. So they want to have a family. So the child tries to cope with it. So that some people, some state ask children if they want to be adopted. But again, they corrupt the child's mind against the parents, the real parents, the flesh and blood parents, before they ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, Cassandra, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and read Emily's
And I feel like Illinois is one of the most corrupt DCFS and LCFS, and One Hope Unite. They make our children feel like they are unloved. What WTF is that about? Really, a child's spirit is the most precious thing ever, and they want to go and break them. They're working for the devil. I pray every night that my children know that I always love them. And I talk to 2 little girls about every day, and they are always begging me to come and see them. And I can't because their aunt says that LCFS says I can't. I'm guessing that's what it says.
yeah. And we also have some aunts, like I mentioned earlier, Emily. We also have some aunts where they actually, aunts and uncles, they actually report their own, like like their sisters or brothers or whatever, because of money. I'm not kidding you guys. This is real shit. They report them. So if that aunt said she can't let you see them, I don't know her story, but perhaps oftentimes the social workers will threaten them and say, if you do allow that to happen, then we're going to take the kids from you and put them in a foster home.
And I totally feel what she's saying. Like I always worried about, like, if my kids didn't know if I cared still or I loved them, because they cut me completely out. And then I finally get to see them, and I made sure I told them everything, like everything about how much I love them. I cared. I made it reinsured that I told them that I love them and I'm still here and I want them.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard. And that's why, honestly, I don't, God. Oh my God, I hate to say this. I don't recommend anyone having children. Honest to God, I don't. Because I feel like it gets worse. It's getting worse. Because I feel Nancy Schaefer was right. This is a new world order. The government knows it. They're using that as a tool. That's the tool. Is your child, your flesh and blood. Emily said, Miss G, how do I get one of those knowledgeable books that you were talking about? Emily, called the office, the number that's on the screen. Call that number. Rachel, Joni, Lisa Lisa Gail might answer the phone, or Christina, and just tell them that you were listening to my show and you want the book that I discussed about Mr. Davis. If I'm on the phone, they'll transfer. If I'm not on the phone, they'll transfer the call to me. If I am on the phone, they will email me to call you. So please give them a cell number, because if you're not answering, then I can text you the book, which is easier. You can just flip the book,
Mhm.
the pages. I think I sent it to you, Cassandra, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read it. It was really helpful. Like,
It is,
let
right?
me know a lot of things that I didn't get to do.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
there's so much that book told me that they didn't do for me. They didn't even, I had no idea about any of that
Yeah.
because
And
I
the
didn't
thing,
even go through it.
well,
And
because
my
Cassandra,
kids are in the system and I didn't even go through half the shit that they said.
we didn't know, honey. You're not
Mm-hmm.
you're a mother. You're not. See, when we become mothers, oh my God, we are not, our thing is to protect our children, nourish them, right? Take care of them, feed them, teach them. We become their chauffeur, their maid, their teacher, you know what I mean? Their mother,
Mm-hmm.
their doctor, their nurse, everything. We become their caregiver 100%. That's what a good mother does. So when they steal your child or children, your body, um, your whole system shifts to a different level, and you're trying to. You don't know who you're mourning with for, your children or yourself, because you don't know how to cope with it, and yet you're mourning for your children, but you can't distinguish anymore because they have you do all these fucking classes, and you don't have time to mourn over your children because you're doing these fucking classes that has nothing to do with who you are. Has nothing to do with who you are. That's what's crazy. They don't even give the mother time to grieve for the loss. And they expect the mother not to shed tears. I swear, every person I speak with, the social worker tells them the same thing. You need help because you cried. What? I would love to see a social worker cry, but those motherfuckers are demons. They don't cry. They really don't. They have no emotions at all. I kid you not. Look into a social worker's eyes. Look into their eyes. They're dead inside. They are fucking walking dead, controlled by Satan to destroy families. I kid you not. This is the God honest truth. Look at their fucking eyes.
And the thing that you were talking about at the very beginning of the show, the whole purpose of what they're doing, the money and all that. Like, I was reading something about it, and it said that because they only give us so much time to do this program or whatever for you reunification, and they do that on purpose for you to finish it that fast so that they have a chance to adopt your kids out because you couldn't finish it. Like, they only give you that a little bit of time, and then they expect you to do all that when you're feeling like basically crap because you don't have your kids.
Exactly. And the thing is, like Amy said, like, she feels your pain, and believe me, I feel your pain too. The thing about the system is that when you cry to a narcissist, right? He feels power. You feeding the power into his power over you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they see it. That means they made you cry. They have power over you. That's how a fucked up person sees it, right? Because they're fucked up inside. But a normal person like Amy, myself, and others who feel your pain is because we have feelings. We have emotions. We know how you feel. We feel remorse. they don't have remorse. They don't have that. So those motherfuckers, I don't feel sorry for them. They're just walking dead inside individuals. They're not human.
Mm-mm.
Because feelings, tears shows you're human. They're not human. These motherfuckers are trained and operated by demons. That's who they are. They're demons.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice to mothers right now, Cassandra? What is your advice to mothers who are dealing with this case? Well, I mean, we're dealing with an investigation phase of CPS, and mothers who are dealing on getting their children back or trying to get their children back. What is your advice that you would tell them to do or not to do as a parent that went through it?
To do your research, for one. If you're already in that stage where they're gone, like, do your research. Look stuff up, get resources. And if you need to hire an attorney, hire a juvenile dependency lawyer. They will help you. If anything, give you consultation, advice, anything, because you cannot do this by yourself, and definitely not with a public pretender. Like, seriously, not at all.
No.
But you need to know your laws. You need to get. I've been reading all the laws for everything, penal codes, everything, doing research because of what my daughter's going through right now.
And what's sad is that telling the parents, oh, we're going to medicate your children. They can't do that without the parents' consent. It's like they fucking remove you completely. Like, you are nothing but a donor.
And make sure your kids know their foster care or foster youth rights. Make sure they know their rights too. Because if they don't know their rights, they can't put those into action, because they also have rights. They have more rights than regular kids. Like, they have so many rights. I've been researching that too. Let your kids know that they got rights also. And they're supposed to tell them about these rights.
You know, oh my God, this is sad. Hold on a second, baby. I just got a text message right now. Somebody that's watching the show, she doesn't want to reveal who it is, said that the social worker knocked on her door last night and told her that if she doesn't open the door, she's going to get her boyfriend, who is a police officer, to break the fucking door down. I have that on recording, and I refuse to open the door for her again. I told her, I said, I refuse to open the door for you. You don't have a warrant. You're not showing me a warrant. You have no cause to be here. She said, she told her, bitch, I'm going to get the police and I will fuck you up. He's my boyfriend, and watch what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to take your fucking kids. I'm going to get your kids adopted, you fucking bitch. And she left. That was from a social worker. Crazy, right?
I believe it. They told my aunt, like, in the courthouse, my aunt was going through some child custody things for CPS or whatever, and the social worker told her, I'm going to take your kids, and I'm going to take your kids as kids and your kids as kids.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yep. And there you have it. And it's sad, but they threaten you. They threaten you. They get what they want. It's endless. It's endless. At this point, again, you're dealing with a demonic entity. Okay? Demonic. There's no nice way to say it, you guys. It's just disgusting. Maureen said, appealing behavior for a worker. Maureen, they're not workers, baby. They're the devil's playground. That's what the social workers are. They are actually the devil's playground. Remember that. Okay? Pamela said, record everything, hire a good attorney. We hired a horrible one. If you have family, get a family involved. Call, email, text them. Make that child more trouble than they want. There you go. Amy said, I am going to school right now, and thanks to Miss G, I am going to be a paralegal. Yay, Amy. I am very proud of you. We talked about that. I'm very proud of you. Yeah, so Trevor said they also allowed the daughter to give consent to be adopted. So this is, oh my God. So again, man, this is really disturbing. I don't even know what to say anymore. Do you, Cassandra? Honestly?
Yeah. Well, just I want everybody to like know, like, for that particular question, or if they give consent, like, I don't know if the rights are different in other states for the foster youth or whatever, but I would see if that actually is possible in her rights to give
Right.
consent.
But
Like,
they need an attorney. They need
yeah.
an attorney, man. You can't, you cannot, again, when you guys come at the end of your case, right? When your case is about to close, don't expect your retainer to be cheap either. Remember that. You guys you need to fight for your children. However, the attorney that you need to find needs to review your case. We can't take your word for it. We can't take your word for it. They need to review your case, make sure to see what the social workers said, the lies that they put on paper. Because what you're telling us is the truth. What's written is lies, are lies that we need to reverse. So the lies in your report needs to be reversed. And hire an attorney immediately. Do not wait until your case is so far to the end of your case. Because once they remove the child from you or the children from you, they already know what they're going to do with these kids. They already know what they're going to do with these kids. They're 5 steps ahead of you. With the right attorney, you need to be 10 steps ahead of these motherfuckers. Maureen said, I have been doing this since 2017, almost 5 years. This Friday will finally end this nightmare. Amy said, our children are priceless. You're absolutely right. They are priceless. They really are. And unfortunately, we brought them in a very wicked world. Very wicked. And that's very sad. All right, Cassandra, we're going to call it an end to the show. And thank you so much for hosting with me again, as always. Thank you, everybody, Amy and Maureen and Tavares and Emily. You guys are amazing. And Rachel, be strong. Don't give up on your children. And I know you're not going to give up on your kids. I know that. But try to come up with everything possible to get the right representation for your case. If anything, do a consultation with a juvenile dependency attorney and get at least some kind of hope that you can do something when it's towards the end of your case. And don't talk too much about irrelevant shit with the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
State the fact. Don't say my ex-husband did this. Blah, blah, blah. The attorney doesn't give a fuck. All he wants to know is, what was the allegation? What did the judge say? When was your last hearing and what type of hearing was it? When is your next hearing? What is the name of the hearing? What state and county the case is in? That's it. That's how the attorney will, in his head, the right attorney will understand what's going on. But he doesn't care if your ex-husband threw water at you or threw the pot at you. That's irrelevant. What are the allegations that the social worker said you did? We all know they lie. You don't have to defend yourself. When you speak to our office, we know they lie. Oftentimes I speak to people, Cassandra, and I kid you not. They said, Miss G, I'm telling you the truth. I swear I'm telling you the truth, Miss G. I'm not lying. They're lying. And they try to convince me they're not lying, and I already know this. And I tell everybody, I already know. This call is about you convincing me they're lying. I already fucking know they're lying.
Obviously, if somebody's calling to get
Yeah.
help to get their kids back, why would they even care if they were being abused and neglected? Like,
Exactly. They all lie. They all lie. Join me, guys, at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G, and at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Relatives Fight CPS. And Cassandra, you're going to be with the other shows, with me on the other shows, or you're?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and Miss Cassandra is going to be with me, and Michael Cardenas, my brother from another mother and father. He's going to be with me and Cassandra at 7 p.m. with Relatives Fight CPS as well. Again, God bless you guys, and keep the good fight, and don't ever give up, and don't lose hope, and don't lose your faith, because the devil is a busy son of a bitch. Okay? So, and when I mean the devil, I'm talking about the social workers. Emily said, real quick, please send me the book, the address that I gave you. The address. Huh? Emily, call me at work, baby girl. Because I'm not understanding that. So anyways, see you later, Miss Cassandra. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye, you guys.